2016 Global Slavery Index report indicates that Nigeria is among the countries that have the highest number of human trafficking victims. It also noted that a larger percentage of the victims are recruited from rural areas, a challenge the Director General of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, Julie Okadonli, says can be better addressed by various states through more awareness campaign by the task force.
Training session aims to achieve a lot. Don't forget that all of these victims come from a state. And so it is very important that the state takes responsibility for their own indigents. And so what happens is that when you have a state task force, they carry out the awareness campaigns. They ensure that awareness gets to everybody. Also, when it comes to protecting the rights of the indigents, where to ensure that the perpetrators are brought to book. Those who commit that crime of trafficking in that state are brought to book, and to also ensure that the victims are well rehabilitated. So this is the job of the task force, the state task force. The state has a very important role to play.
The Naptip DG, who was speaking during the training of some task force members in Lagos, called for continuous public support for the agency to achieve its mandate.
So they just believe that, out of ignorance, that, traveling out of the country, the streets are laced with gold and silver. And then when they get there, they find out that that is not the case. They do not understand that even citizens of that country, some citizens of that country also don't have jobs, also don't have homes. You've heard the testimonies of most of those that were trafficked. When they come back, they tell you they don't even wish it for their enemies. So those who sit back in Nigeria and encourage people to travel are just in denial. Now, if they say someone earns about 400,000 a day, have they found out the kind of job the person is doing? The person is most likely to be forced into prostitution. And don't forget, not just women are forced into prostitution. We also have men that are forced into prostitution. So you have to weigh your options and find out if you're ready to be a male prostitute or a female prostitute or a male slave or a female slave. So the choice is yours. But really, I don't think anyone should, in his or her right mind, get up and leave Nigeria without a mission. It does not make sense. And I would advise people like that to stay back in Nigeria, develop Nigeria, and you'll make it here in Nigeria.
Based on the feedback we've gotten, it's primarily in search of better economic prospects in the age of 18 to 35. What various studies have shown, and the anecdotal information is that definitely when it comes to migration, when it's not done in an orderly, safe manner, there have been reports of human rights violations, so which definitely would have an impact on the health and the well-being of these individuals. What we do is we provide reintegration assistance and working with the various government stakeholders in their integration support.
A lot of people that have been traveling irregularly, hundreds of thousands, and thousands die in the process of these irregular migrations, particularly when they go through the deserts.
About 442 traffickers have been convicted by the agency and over 17,000 victims rescued.
So traffickers are punishable. They are liable to punishment. They can be prosecuted and their assets be forfeited, and also those who harbor them. So if you are harboring traffickers, your property will stand the liability of also being forfeited. People involved in air, transport, travel agencies and all that. These are stakeholders that need to be brought on board. And then, of course, we have traditional rulers in border countries. So, for instance, trafficking that goes through border parts are not without the awareness of the community. So basically, it's something that cannot be done by Naptip alone. And that's why this idea of having task force being brought on board. And even the task force, you see, it's composed of religious groups, composed of traditional institutions, young people, key players in the NGO sector. So coming together will enable us to work together to deal with this, identify the traffickers. So we have to be our neighbor's keeper. If you suspect things going on in your neighborhood that is untoward or abnormal, that you see people being chained, being locked, or some people you just hear noises at night, people being abused, it's time to speak up, and let the authorities know that there are nefarious activities going on so that such things can be investigated. Beseech our youths not to waste their lives, because haste make waste.